Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to the Fruit of Life stream here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. And as always, your host here, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's stream, which would have been a freaking Friday, but then I was like, I don't really feel like getting into stories today. I'm kind of tired. My mind is just kind of phrased what it is. So I figured I would just talk about fruit specifically. In this case, strawberries that we got today at the store. They were $1 a container, which was a good deal. Unfortunately, I had misgrabbed one of the ones because I got 4 different containers, is what it was then. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I can put a bunch of these in the old Tupperware container stuff that I have. That is good to save them for a while. What it is there. And then obviously, I was looking at them in the store and like being like, okay, this looks pretty good. It's okay right here. Maybe this one's kind of might be like 1 or 2 iffy ones in that one, but it should be fine, whatever. And then sure enough, like the one that I opened that I thought was like 1 or 2 iffy ones was just completely rotten garbage in it. There was about 3 or 4 of them that were just completely rotten to the point where I picked out a couple that were like kind of like on the edge basically that weren't rotten obviously, and then I was just like, I'm just gonna toss this container because it's not worth it to go through this whole thing and try to get good ones underneath bad ones and whatnot, because you don't know how much rot is even there, so it is what it is. So but yeah, these are some pretty decent sized berries though, like size wise compared to the fork there. Like that one's a pretty good size. There's some other ones that are a little bigger than this. There's some other ones that are smaller than this. There's a bunch still in the container in there that are at least the same size here. I think these are about maybe half to a third of the size of the ones that they're trying to sell for the like giant strawberry that's like $20 a piece, which I'm sorry, if you're paying $20 for a single strawberry, you are fucking retarded. I'm just gonna say, look at this, dude. If you're paying $20 for a piece of fucking fruit that's gonna be gone in like 13 seconds or something, you're a dumb motherfucker. End of story. So, but yeah, I figured I'd eat some strawberries on camera, let you guys know how they are right now. I already tried one off camera, which was one of the ones that was kind of on the verge. That was in the day or two would probably be bad, but it was very, very juicy today though. So. That one's pretty good. That second one might have been a little bit juicier. This one's kind of an iffy one right here. May or may not be bad in some spots. That one you can actually taste the sugars in it, and it was super, super soft compared to the first two. So. Like by comparison, you can tell that some of these are clearly firmer, and the other ones are just like that close to going rotten, basically. But yeah, I figure I'll eat at least half a dozen or so of these right now. I don't want to eat too many though, because I know apparently found out last month or so here that strawberries are apparently a diuretic, and yeah, they will give you the shits. Is what it is. So yeah, I don't want to eat a whole ton of them. Is what it is there, because I don't want to be on the toilet the rest of the night, basically. But I do need to get some fresh fruit in my system again. Is what it is here. But anyway, that one's a pretty good size. Very, very sweet on that. That one tasted a bit bitter, but it had a decent, like, compared to the one previous to that, it's probably about 75% of the sweetness to it. 25% bitter. That one's on the bitter side. More of the left in here anyway. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 15, maybe 16 left. I can grab this guy here. I do want to talk about a couple things, obviously, while we're here besides just fruit. Specifically, what's going on tomorrow with that stupid No Kings thing. And it's a bunch of bullshit. Missouri's governor's already declared basically martial law at a state level. And your state of emergency, anyways, what it is there. Activate National Guard there. I don't know why every other state hasn't done the same, honestly, at this point. Like, we all know it's going to be terrorist rioting, what it is, dude, from the left at this point. And obviously, there's a couple different people who have talked in the last day or so about it being a potential color revolution where they're trying to, do another assassination attempt on Trump, as it is there. Which I don't know if that's going to be true or not. I'm just telling you what I heard. And one of the guys in NEA's chat earlier was like, "Oh, you believe in color revolution theory?" It's like, well, first of all, it's not a theory, guy. It's literally taken place for like centuries now across the world. It's what have been the U.S. CIA for like the last 100-something years now, or whatever, has done this shit all across the earth, basically, from Ukraine to, different parts of Middle Eastern countries, etc. There, I mean, hell, there's literally YouTube channels on this site right now. Specifically, there's one called Unredacted that I was watching recently, where it was back in the I want to say 40s or 50s, someplace in there. It was after Teddy Roosevelt had become president, and it was his nephew was over in, I believe it was Iran or Pakistan, one of the two. And it was him doing some covert ops shit over there, and it was basically to have the guy that was in charge at the time, that was the president of the country or whatever, get regime changed out for some like American guy is what it was, or not American guy, but like some guy who was American back, is what it was there, from the way through their agencies, is what it was there. So yeah, to sit there and call it a theory is absolute bullshit, when literally like 99.9% of this shit is all delayed reality, is what it is right now. And that's one thing I realized recently, like, when people call you conspiracy theorists, it's like, no, dude, you're a delayed realist, is what it is, because you're seeing reality for what it's going to be in the future and calling it out in the present, is what it is. So it's just like the whole thing with race realism and stuff like that. It's like, you're not racist when you see things in patterns and stuff like that. You're realizing the realism of what's going on, is what it is there. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize anymore. And it's what's fucking sad when you start looking at that stuff is that white people are the only race on Earth right now that is not tribalized. Everybody else is tribalized at this point. We're the only ones sitting back and being like, "Oh no, color blood, fuck that, no, dude." Like, it's time for us to start tribalizing, honestly. So, especially when you only have, it's like, I think the entire world population of white people right now is like 70% and declining because of all the genocides going on against us in various Middle Eastern countries and various African countries and various fucking other nations and stuff like that. So yeah, it's time to wake the fuck up, people, and realize what's going on. So, but anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in the least if there was something to happen tomorrow, them trying to do some terrorist shit or whatever the case be. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be an actual, like, CIA, deep state, fucking, China-funded plot to, take out Trump again or whatever, or if it's going to be just a bunch of assholes doing a bunch of terrorism nationwide, what it is there. Yeah, no. but that also requires money, unfortunately. I've been looking for some ladies recently, and I'll tell you what, like, I'm in this weird flux right now as a 40-year-old man because it's like, I'm obviously got to date younger if I want to have a bunch of kids because all the chicks my age are already, infertile or pretty close anyway, to like menopause and stuff like that. And then even if I found a girl that was like maybe 5 or 6 years younger than I am, like, how many more years does she have left? 2, 3, maybe a kid or two at most. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. And then a lot of these young girls are so. OnlyFans has ruined like an entire generation of females in our country, I believe, and just made like glorified whoring into this weird ass like sport, I guess is what it would be, where it's like they're idolizing these people, and I'm like, why the fuck would you idolize some bitch who fucked like 1,000 dudes? Like, that's just retarded, literally. Like, it completely boggles the mind, honestly, dude. To why anybody would think that was like clout or whatever. So, yeah, it's just so stupid is what it is. But yeah, I've been dealing with all kinds of dumb shit here is what it is recently. I gotta call out my fucking city now that controls my water supply right now because these assholes are trying to charge me late fees when I literally told them when I was there like less than a month ago changing over the water. I think it was like maybe 2-3 weeks ago now is what it is. And I was telling them, I was like, hey, if there's any outstanding balance on this thing, it's going to be for me, so just give me the fucking bill right now and I'll pay it right now. And they're like, no, your landlord will take care of that. I'm like, no, he won't. Like, just give me the bill. And now they're trying to charge me like late fees on previous amounts that were on the fucking account or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, because I told people then, just give me the fucking bill. And he didn't do it. So now I'm going to have to argue with them come this coming week whenever I can get down there and pay the damn thing. So fucking stupid. Very, very irritating too on that one. But yeah, I ended up getting some couple different things at the farmer's marketplace I went to today. It was nice. They had it's like these 2-pound bags of sausage. It was like ground sausage, so I got a pack of that. And then they had I forget what the company is that makes them, but they were like the bigger brats that were like probably like yay big. Well, they're about probably like yay big, give or take, size wise. So I'm gonna try to do those here at some point in the near future. Probably tomorrow or Sunday, maybe. I'm debating if I want to try those in the air fryer or if I want to do them like in the oven or something. And then the sausage, I think, is just going to be either done in the skillet or done just like make it up as like some burgers and try to do it in the MicroPro grill or something like that then. Like I have in the past because it's always been pretty good. And then I'll probably be in the next 3-4 days then for that. So throw in some fries and stuff with that then probably. But yeah, it's the whole thing. And then for those that have been paying attention to what's going on in LA, then you got a bunch of crap going on there where it's just back and forth of Newsom versus Trump, and one judge is saying, oh no, Gavin's in the right, and then another judge is being like, no, federal law, Trump state law, etc. And then keeps going back and forth like that the last 2 days or something now. And then I guess there was a sheriff in some county in Florida today who basically came out and was like, hey, if you're going to, riot in Florida, don't be surprised when you get killed. So, thought that was pretty good. I'm not surprised by it. I mean, hell, you had DeSantis come out here in the last couple of days and basically saying, if you think your life is in danger in the state of Florida and there's one of these riots going on, just run over these people is what he said, basically, in so many words. So, okay, it was the state police that apparently said the arrest and everything else like that. I thought it was some sheriff. That's what this is like secondhand from my uncle. Honestly, I haven't seen the actual video. That's what it is. But yeah, I'll have to check that video out later myself because it sounded really funny when he was telling me earlier. I don't have the clip is the problem. I don't know where the clip is even at right now. So The only thing I could find was like all the people's reaction to it, where they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this dude is saying this," and it's like, no shit, Sherlock. Hmm. Hmm. I just put a video on, or just reposted a video to our account here on Twitter, where it was some chick talking about, I think it was a black woman coming into some place for a facial. It's like mani pedi, whatever you want to call it there. That would have cost $305, and that chick was trying to offer $180. And she's like, nah, that ain't happening. Which, like, what kind of shit is that, dude? Like, you're going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to try to get a $120 discount on something? Like, fuck you. Seriously. Anyway. I will say one thing, though, going to X for a minute here. I'm like 100% sure that John Cryer is a pedophile at this point. Like, he's obviously a douchebag leftist, but I truly believe that guy might be a child molester too at this point, honestly. It would actually make sense given how he was able to get the role in 2.5 Men and stuff like that. For those that haven't been paying attention, you have Iran and Israel going at it now for potential World War III. You got Iran retaliates with missiles after Israel strikes them. So you got Marines detained civilian in LA amidst immigration protest. So you got man pretends to be a woman, does a twirl, wearing a dress at Disney. That guy looks like a fucking creeper, honestly, dude. These people really are just like freaks with weird fetishes in most cases, dude. Like, I believe there's definitely like different sets, obviously. Like, there's ones like this motherfucker right here that are definitely just like mental patients that need to be in a mental institution, is what it is there. They're just like into some weird fetishized bullshit or whatever. But then there's like other ones out there. Oh, sorry. Thought it was screen sharing. It wasn't screen sharing here. Hey, you got this creepy ass looking motherfucker right here is what it is. He's doing like really weird twirls and fucking women's dresses and stuff at Disney World. So yeah, these guys are definitely like fetishizing for sure, is what it is on that one. But then there's also like the ones like your Blair White types that are like, you know, trying to be as close to a chick as possible, basically, is what it is there. Or like in the opposite version of that, it'd be Buck Angel types, where it's, you know, a person who's born a female and is trying to be living their life as a male for like the last 30 years or whatever it is. So, and there's definitely, like, I believe truthfully there is like weird like categories in these people where it's like there are some that just want to live their life as the opposite sex and they thought that they were, you know, potentially born in the wrong body kind of thing. That's what it is. But then you definitely have weirdos like that. They're just like, you know, trying to fuck around and being all like, oh, I'm going to do this till I get kicked out by somebody or whatever the case be. And it's like, these are the people that either need to be A, locked the fuck up forever in a nut house, throw away the fucking key, throw them in a rubber room someplace, or B, just exile from society, kick them the fuck out of this country is what it is, and send them off to like some fucking Middle Eastern hellhole where they will find out real quick what is there. So, and of course, for the latest in LA, we got in a last-ditch effort before the sun goes down, LAPD is helping business owners board their windows up. That's just sad and pathetic right there is what that is, dude. Very fucking sad. Yeah, they ain't gonna do shit, bro. You need a bigger piece of wood. There's what you need, brother. So, I don't know. I feel like honestly, if I was gonna have a business like that, I don't care where I was at, I would literally be sitting inside of it and then just like pull it, like almost doing like a like the old like castle moat thing, where it's like you just like pull the drawbridge up to you is what it is there. And if they try to like yank the shit down or whatever the case be, prepare to get shot is what it is, dude. Like, it's that simple. So, let's see, what's this one here? Alleged U.S. soldier says he doesn't feel proud serving on what he calls stolen land, especially where illegal aliens are being deported. Well, he can fuck off and be dishonorably discharged is what it is on that one, dude. And that's what's happening to a lot of these fucking people, honestly. It's like, you want to screw around, dude, you get dishonorably discharged is what it is. Go eat a dick. This one's actually funny. I saw this last night. So apparently AOC was doing some weird shit with her neck where she was talking about walking like a duck. I think she's a human duck, dude. Yeah, she's just such a fucking weirdo, dude. So, which actually brings me to a funny one I found in one of the comment sections that was talking about the original post there. And it posted, when it was talking about AOC, somebody posted this that they made up here, which is AOC as a duck. So, that's pretty hilarious, I think, personally. But, anyway. So we got U.S. Marines carry out first known detention of civilian in L.A. Okay, that's where the apparently was the video of that there. I think I can share this. Yeah, it's just them arresting a guy. Yeah, so man was detained. Later identified as Marcos Leos, an Army veteran. He said he was heading to Department of Veterans Affairs when he crossed a yellow tape boundary. Man 27 says he gained U.S. citizenship through military service, which I disagree completely, honestly, and praised the Marines for treating him, quote, very fairly, for just doing their job, he claimed. Yeah, see, that's the thing I don't get, though. Like, I never understood, like, the whole gaining citizenship through serving in our military, because it's like, first off, how are you going to take an oath to the Constitution if you're not actually a citizen of the country to begin with? It's just like that woman out in Minnesota the other day who was talking about how she was a Laotian immigrant and her family came here, and then it turned out her dad committed welfare, or not welfare fraud, immigration fraud and like social security fraud and stuff like that because they were illegally here for decades. What it was there. And then she basically went on this whole tirade about how her family was smarter than everybody else was because they didn't get caught for decades or whatever. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you're not smarter than anyone, lady. You're stupid enough to admit that you're illegal in this country for decades now is what it is. And that you've been scamming the system this entire time is what it is there. So, yeah, it's just dumb. But yeah, I don't understand how you can sit there and, you know, claim to have an oath to the Constitution as a U.S. Military personnel when you're not actually a citizen of the country is what it is. So it is a little bit mind-boggling, honestly. See what InfoWars has going on right now. A few hours back. Let's see, we got Alex Jones talking about false flag terrorism alert. Neocons, CIA are now putting out talking point that Iran will activate sleeper cells and launch terror attacks in the U.S. This is all the hallmarks of a false flag event to bring the U.S. into direct war with Iran, even if the Islamic dictatorship tries to capitulate. Yeah, that's not good, man. It's not good at all. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was Islamic terror attacks in this country, though, for real, though, just because how many people were let in under Biden's dumbass that are legitimately Islamic terrorists. So we got this one. Insurrection. Seattle Police Chief tells City Council he will do everything in his power to help criminal illegals evade justice, even if he is arrested and prosecuted for his crimes. Yeah, that dude needs to be fucking arrested for that shit then, for high treason. Like, enough is enough putting up with this crap, dude. Like, it's time. Like, we know what the penalty is for high treason. It's death, dude. And it's time for some of these fuckers to be put to the death penalty, is what it is. For the kind of shit they're pulling, because it is literally high treason. You're trying to destroy the sovereignty of this fucking nation for your own benefit and to benefit the illegals that have no business being in this country to begin with, who in many cases are violent people who have sit there and they've raped children, they've raped women, they've murdered people, etc. And you're going to sit there and clown for these pieces of shit? You can fuck right off, dude. Back to hell where you belong, you demons. So, anyway. So what's this one here? Neville Singham is a proud socialist who made almost $1 billion in America, then fled to China. He's now married to Code Pink activist leader Jody Evans, and they fund LA riot groups while living in communist Shanghai. Unfortunately for him, he's getting called in to testify under oath about his funding of violent riots in America. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're here, dude. Like, again, like, how hard is it to just execute someone for the crimes they're committing right now? Perfect example is this fucking guy right here, man. Or like those fucking Chinese spies that tried to do a damn bioweapon in Michigan recently. Like, that should have been a national TV public hanging at that point, dude. Like, you're really trying to do some Red Rush shit in America. Those don't get the reference on that one. Back in the day, there was a show called The Last Ship, and it was like season 2 or 3 of that show. After they had made the cure, the crops themselves started being destroyed by the virus, is what it was, and it was called Red Rust. So, if you didn't know before, now you know. Oh my fucking god, dude. Going back to the retardation of these leftist terrorist rioters, they are literally trying to stop a car with a small barricade. Yeah, that is not smart, and I'm pretty sure that's a police vehicle too, if I'm not mistaken, given the flashing lights in it. Yeah, these people are really dumbasses. I'm not gonna obviously play this. I'm just gonna go zipping through it. It is kind of sad when you see the militarization on our streets, though, of the police right now, and like those actually might be military guys, though. Who the hell knows anymore? But it is sort of sad to see that, and it's sad that it had to come to this because of fucking ass clowns doing stupid shit like this, basically, and blocking fucking cars and stuff. I'm just so done with it, dude. Like, I really, truly am. And then it turns out that bitch Karen Bass, who's known Castro colony for decades of her life now, was funding a lot of this crap in LA. So. So apparently LA has deployed their, how did this is, tactical women assault team, or TWAT. I don't know if this is actually real or if this is like AI and stuff, dude. I have no idea if it's for real or if it's AI, but that is kind of funny though. It's so hard to tell because so many of these fucking AI videos anymore look realistic as hell, honestly. I'm assuming this is AI, though. That's too much, dude. The ironic part is, though, like, truthfully, like this chick here, like, if she takes a stupid nose ring out of her nose, lets her hair grow out and back to, like, a natural color or whatever, she wouldn't be a bad-looking chick, honestly, dude. But that's the problem with so many of these leftist females. They just want to be, like, dudes or just like really ugly bitches what it is there. And they wonder why they can't get nobody's what it is. Huh. This is an interesting post that somebody made here. It says, the Craigslist ad looking for, quote, the toughest badasses in LA has been traced to Hakeem Jeffries' office. Jeffries and his donors are paying up to $12,500 a week for people willing to get down and dirty with police and National Guard. The LLC paying the bills is a shell company owned by George and Alex Soros. Obviously, that's Georgia. Obviously, it meant George. Not surprising if that be the case. I mean, it always ties back to those fuckers in Bilderberg, dude. So. Anyways. Yeah, apparently you got some black Americans now realizing we're being replaced as a society of people by a bunch of illegals. So. I think we're going to leave off with this chick, who very well could be Jade in a future Mortal Kombat movie. Question to the men was, could you last 10 seconds with this? I mean, are we actually doing martial arts stuff against each other, or is it like, are we talking about like sexual shit in the bedroom, or what here? Because I'm kind of confused. So, because I gotta say, depending on where we're at, it'd probably be me. Lasting the full 10 seconds. So, hell, I might even last 20 seconds, depending. But obviously, I'm making jokes at this point. Damn. Supposedly, Prince William's billionaire friend, Sundray Copper, died at the age of 53 after swallowing a bee during a polo match. So apparently the bee just like flew up into his mouth and stung him. Well, see, when they say bee, I think it probably means some kind of hornet or like yellow jacket or something would be my guess. Because I doubt, first off, I doubt a bee is going to like sting you, especially if it's like a honeybee, because it can only sting you once. Whereas if it's like a yellow jacket, that makes a lot more sense. Because those fuckers just keep stinging and stinging and stinging and stinging and stinging, and so do other hornets and stuff like that too, for that matter. So, but yeah, some pretty wild shit though, for sure. I forget what these things are called. I think they're like caliphs or something that these people wear here, like the Middle Eastern terrorist garb shit. There's what it is. I never understood it, dude. Like, why you wouldn't look like a fucking terrorist on U.S. soil. But yeah, apparently they were blocking the entrance to Delaney Hall ICE facility, and then ICE agents were like, "Get the fuck out of here," and just simply shut them out the way. And that's where we're gonna leave that at. So. But yeah, I actually do own a couple of those Khalif things, and it's not purposely I went and bought them and everything like that. It was that I was at the place with my cousin last year that was the discount place that I got stuff for a few cents a piece. What it was there, and they just happened to have a couple in one of the bins there, he actually found them and was like, "Hey, do you want these?" And I'm like, "Sure, I wouldn't mind trying it just to see if I could, I actually wanted to see if I could tie it up, is what it was." And I'll tell you what, if you don't know how to tie those things, they are hard to tie, man. Like you got to get and even after looking up a video of how to do it and stuff, I was able to get it done once, I think, but it just looked weird on my face. And actually, I don't understand how the people in the Middle East can deal with that shit on their heads, dude. Because when you have that fully tied around your mouth and stuff, it is hot as fuck underneath that thing, dude. So I'd be sweating balls honestly in that thing if I was to wear that all day. Obviously, if I was some Middle Eastern guy, whatever the case be. So. But yeah, just crazy, crazy shit though, either way. That would be one way to blend in with these people, though, by the way, is just wear that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden it's when shit goes south or whatever, you just, toss it off and have some American flag banner underneath your thing or something like that, what it is, or some shit, So. Apparently, Marjorie Taylor Greene accused Democrat governors of murder straight to their faces, and they included pieces of shit Kathy Hochul and others, which they are fucking murderers. Hochul literally killed a bunch of people as lieutenant governor of New York in 2020 under that piece of shit Andrew Cuomo, and she's since murdered more people since then, dude. So, in fact, every time these assholes let fucking babies be killed in their state in a mass genocide like that, that's exactly what they're doing. They're openly committing murder, is what it is there. So. So, this was actually pretty interesting here. I think we will leave off with this one, actually. Was new study claims 60% of guys age 18 to 40 are no longer getting married and aren't even dating. Why is this the case? Go check out the comment section on this one. Let's see. Online dating apps, 5% of the men are getting 90% of the attention. Not enough men are 6'3" and making $200,000 plus a year. Somebody else's response was 18 to 40, how to lie with stats. What does it mean, age for marriage in USA, which was responded to 30.2 years. Let's see what this one says. We live in a world filled with abortion, porn, celebrity worship, leftist agendas in elementary schools, misandrous feminism, Satanism, and sexual hedonism, and someone calls you an extremist because you oppose all of it. Yeah, I can see that being why guys aren't dating these days or marrying or whatever. So we got this person saying men are being told that women don't want or need them, and they believe it. Women are being told that they should not want or need men unless they are doormats, and they believe it. Social programming designed to destabilize nuclear family. That is 100% spot on right there from that person. So I like this one. All men are the same. Who told you to try all of them? Sounds about right. See, this guy here said, not worth time, money, or risk. We work 10 times harder and spend 10 times more on women that aren't worth a tenth of what our grandmothers are worth. See, and that's the thing too. I realized as well, for me personally, as a 40-year-old guy now, is what it is. I've realized, if I had the ability to time travel, I would definitely jump back to the 1950s or 60s, honestly, because I feel like I'm definitely in the wrong time right now for when it comes to a relationship and stuff like that. Where I just need to jump to a different time period of history to some chick that would be mother, grandmother, whatever the case be, age-wise, and then just have a bunch of kids in the past or something is what it is there, and make a better future that way or whatever then. So, which I don't know if that's ever going to happen or not. I doubt it will, but you never know, man. So, I recently started watching that, I think it was 1963 or whatever it was called, the one that was about Kennedy's assassination. and it had James Franco as the lead guy, and is what it was there. And it was basically about him going back to 63 there is what it was, to try to stop the assassination from happening or something, which obviously never worked out, and it just, completely fumbled it, made it worse, obviously, in the future then. So, yeah, you can't really change history like that, unfortunately, is what it is, but, doesn't mean you can't set up fucking franchises back then. So, anyway. Yeah. I actually think I heard one recently. It was from the dude does whatever podcast, and it was him talking about how it's so many of these women that are like 4, 5, 6 on the like hotness scale, whatever you want to call it there. And instead of dating guys that are 4s, 5s, or 6s, they're trying to date dudes that are like 9s and 10s and stuff like that. Because some dude who's an 8 or a 9 or even a 10 for that matter slummed it one night and banged their ass. That's after some bar or whatever it was they were at. And now I think they can get those kind of guys all the time is what it is then. None of those guys are actually going to ever marry them or wife them up is what it is there. So, or want to have any relationship long term with them is what it is. They just want a booty call is what it is there. But yeah, I definitely think a lot of it does have to do with the fact that it's, like that top 5, 10%, whatever it is of dudes are getting like 80, 90% of these females what it is, trying to run after them and stuff like that. Where in reality, if 80, 90% of them females went to the 80, 90% guys out there, like they'd be better off, honestly, because they'd find a mediocre looking guy or whatever, but at the same time, it would be a good provider in most cases for them. And I think in a lot of cases, it kind of goes back to that even where what you end up with is that you have these chicks who are like, I don't need provided for anymore, but in reality, they kind of still do is what it is. And they don't realize that, or they don't realize that's what they actually want. Because in reality, like, your genome, your DNA sequence, etc. there, your biological, brainwaves and stuff like that, it all goes back to wanting that relationship is what it is there. And unfortunately, too many of these chicks end up, 18, 19, 22, 23 years old, whatever it is, are so fucking run through by like 1,000 guys at that point or whatever, that of course nobody wants them anymore because they can't pair bond anymore. It's like Hondo was talking about in one of his chats a while back now, where it's, I believe the statistic that was given that has now been like studied and proven or whatever is fact, is once a dude or a chick sleeps with at least 40 different people, they can no longer pair bond. So if you have somebody who has had at least 36 relationships, sexual relationships, they are pretty much on the verge of never being able to pair bond again. If they've got over that, they can never pair bond. So they'll always be jumping from the next one to the next one to the next one where it is there. So it's like, yeah, why would you want to be with somebody like that you can never have settled down because their brain is now, ticked off to where it's no longer being able to bond in a relationship with someone is what it is there. So, and the sad irony of everything now is it's like you're almost better off if you're a dude in like your 30s or 40s to look for some woman in her 50s, 60s, 70s, even for that matter, because she's probably going to have a much lower body count than these chicks that are like, 20, 30, whatever it is there. So it's hard to say anymore, dude. I'm not saying I'm going to date up is what it is there, where it's like dating some woman in their 50s or 60s or whatever the case be, but it's like, shit, might as well at this point, honestly, just see if I can find somebody out there is what it is. So, anyway. Actually, it was interesting. NEA was talking about in his chat earlier how a lot of what Trump is doing right now from the mega Republican side of political history is actually the Reformer Party of 1992 is what it is. I'm not surprised by it. I mean, Ross Perot said pretty much exactly what Trump is trying to say now is what it is back in '92. So yeah, it is what it is. But still got about a half a thing of berries here in this bowl to take out. So I'm gonna need a couple more of these in the thing, and maybe I might just wrap these with some foil or something then and put them back in the fridge. That was definitely very sweet. Some of these definitely are softer than others for sure. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna eat more than that because I still got about. I don't think I'll eat one more. Just because I don't want to have, like I said, I don't have the shits later is what it is with these. Because unfortunately they are a diuretic. Yeah, I think I'll just cover those over with some cling wrap or something I have here and put them in the fridge for later then is what it is. Maybe a snack or something tomorrow. So. Yeah, those are pretty good though for $1 a container though. Which that's the nice thing about where I live at in Ohio is that I can go to places like 15, 20 minutes from me. They're little farmers markets and they're very good prices with biz like that. But yeah, anybody that's, like I said before, is paying that $20 for that big ass strawberry, y'all A, have way too much money, B, you're fucking retarded. Unless something is made of solid gold and you're gonna shit out like an actual like ingot that you're gonna be able to sell for like a couple $100 down the road or something like that, dude. No, that's not worth $20 for a fucking single strawberry. And I guarantee that shit is like bioengineered to the point where it just is not good for your body. So, now that these ones are probably a similar way actually, but. Yeah, there was some British girl the other day talking about the whites and the strawberries here in America versus like the red ones they have over there, and it's like actually different breeds is what it is there. I'll tell you what though, that would be the kind of chick to wife up right there though. Get her to be all 1776 after the fact. So. Going back to that comment section about dudes and the dating/marriage thing, this one was pretty funny. Study finds 100% of men would immediately leave their desk jobs if asked to embark upon a trans-Antarctic expansion on a big wooden ship. Yeah, I don't think that's the case because most of us don't want to die in the fucking wooden ship by freezing to death in the fucking Antarctic is what it is there, dude. Like, at least give me a ship that's going to be like, you know, sustainable and be able to keep me warm and stuff inside. So don't freeze to death out there. Not to mention, you know, your ship being wooden would get busted up from the all the ice caps and stuff like that. Although that being said, I know the Antarctic, there's been a lot of talk about that for some years now, about it being like some like proving ground place or whatever for like various like species that shouldn't be around anymore, but they are now, like dinosaurs and stuff like that. That's supposed to be like some like hidden cove or something there is what it is. Kind of like that one episode of Tailspin back in the day where they popped up in the rock and then it like turned all the desert into like lush greenery and there was all the dinosaurs coming out of nowhere is what it is there. So I wouldn't be surprised if that actually existed, honestly. And that would actually make sense, logically speaking, when you think about it. If we actually had like stuff like that where it was all these things that were told to us as kids in like cartoon shows and stuff like that were actually legitimate things what it is, but because they told it to us in a cartoon format, everybody's like, oh no, that's just cartoons or whatever. But in reality, it's like, no, it's an actual storyline that was actually true, is what it is. It was just Hollywood through government agencies or whatever the case be, pushing it in this format instead of just showing it to us in a different movie or whatever it was then. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It just seems very interesting either way. So, so going back to the whole like younger woman thing, here's what it is. This is what I'm talking about here, dude. Like this would be the perfect chick right here, honestly. Or chicks, I guess. I don't know if this is the same girl or two different. I think it's different girls. But yeah, like something like this, like a little like sundress or whatever the case be, or like a little white, head wrap thing, or whatever, like a white top. Like to me, that's like the perfect chick, honestly, right there, dude. It's like some modest girl like that who's, maybe been slightly sheltered her life or whatever the case be, but knows like enough, but isn't like, a whore basically. Like that's the kind of woman I would want to be with, honestly. And I would put a ring on that finger, honestly. So, but it's very hard to find, unfortunately, these days. And it's just getting harder and harder to find. The longer we go as a society, is what it is. So, but anyway. I'll tell you one thing though, and this is just sad. And this goes back to the Hollywood pedophiles and stuff out there. Is look how fucked up Amanda Bynes looks nowadays, dude. Like she went from like this really good looking chick back in the early 2000s to like just this weird blob mess right now. Like I don't know what the fuck happened to her besides getting molested by a shitload of pedophiles in Hollywood, dude. But that would make sense if that would do it. If you're getting, 3 or 4 sick ass motherfuckers on top of you to make you want to just destroy your beauty after the fact or whatever. It's just so sad, and she's not the only one that happened to. Unfortunately, she's just the most recent one that's had this kind of weird looking transformation and stuff like that. But yeah, I just feel for these kids in Hollywood, dude, that were child actors and stuff like that 20, 30 years ago, and are now basically were cast aside because they were molested by these sick fucks and given like some shit show or whatever it was for their time and body to be used up by these sick fuckers, and only for them to now be just like self-hating and stuff like that, even though they're not really self-hating, they're hating themselves because they hate these sick fucks that molested upon them, is what it is there. And then the worst are obviously people like your Seth Green types that went from being predator to prey, or went from being prey to predator, where he was preyed upon in most likely in the 80s and 90s by the guy who was married to Melissa Gilbert, Timothy Busfield is who that guy is. And now it's pieces of shit like Seth Green that are actual child molesters themselves now, after being, preyed upon by that piece of crap Busfield. So, and Brock Pierce is another one of Busfield's victims, I believe. And Brock Pierce is another one of these guys that has since gone on to be a child molester himself then. So, but yeah, it's just sad. It's just very, very, very sad, man. When you look at Amanda Bynes in the 90s versus 2025. So, But yeah, I believe it is pure demonic evil in a lot of the cases here. You can't tell me it's not. And I believe it's the same thing with a lot of these Democrats in power right now, at a federal level and even at state levels for that matter. They're just demonically evil. So, actually, I'm going to leave off with this one. This one actually is pretty funny. I'd choose a bear over a strange man. You literally met with 5 strangers on Tinder last week. Exactly. I actually asked my sister about that one. Told her the scenario, or whatever. She's like, "Yeah, I would choose the bear." And I was like, "Wait, why?" And she's like, "Because men, especially white men, think they can do whatever the fuck they want." And it's like, what? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was so confused when she said that to me, and I'm just like, that's ridiculous. So, yeah, it's just completely insane what it is, dude. Sorry, I just saw something funny. I'm about to send to Honda's Discord later for a future Gay Frog chat placeholder thing. So, anyway, but yeah, on that note, it's been almost an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I'm pretty tired. I don't feel well. I'm gonna put these strawberries away for the time being, and I may just grab like a plastic bag or something, just throw them in that, and throw the baggie in the fucking thing or something. Then, so that way I can wash out this bowl and it's not gonna be all stained then. So, as it was, I had to throw away like half of a head of lettuce today because it was so browned out. I didn't really want to even try to eat it because I think it was already kind of rotten. So, I need to go get some new lettuce head or two in the next couple days here and hopefully get a good deal on that. Not pay arm and a fucking leg for those things because they're not on sale. It seems like they're like $2 or $3 a piece versus when I got the ones a couple weeks ago that were like 88 cents a piece. So, but yeah, it's just the whole thing. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that video where it's the guy like telling the chick like, you know, grab the dude's arm or something like that to like sling him over, and then she's just like, it's like the next thing is her like basically getting fucked by the guy that she's trying to like fight or whatever. I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, that would be like the perfect example of chicks like this girl right here, where she was saying, if you voted for Trump, I hope you can fight. And it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're just going to get fucked there, honey. Like, you're just going to have some. Because the thing is, again, going back to her, like, her whole look there, dude, like, she's mildly attractive. But I guarantee she's just a brainwashed leftist nut, is what it is. Whereas if you deprogram these people, literally, they would be better off. You know, they would actually be happier. They would be wanting to have a family, etc. It's hard to say. Kinda, not full, not 100%. Like she's still rational enough to have like conversations with and stuff like that. But like, there's definitely like some hardcore leftists, like tropes there. I guess is what I'd say. Like she hasn't gone like full, but she's definitely gone like full in some categories of stuff. So, I mean, hell, she was Kamala 2024 for God's sakes. So, of course, the dickhead DOJ sided against gunners again. Fucking scumbags. I'll tell you right now, dude. The worst thing Trump ever did was make Pam Bondi AG in this country. That bitch has no fucking reason to ever be in that position of power, especially when she was the one that was all for red flags in Florida when she was the AG at state level in Florida. Like, you should have definitely chose somebody else on that one. But, anyways. On that note, though, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I got some stuff I got to do, and I'm probably going to try to take a nap here in the chair out in the bedroom. I'm not sure which. By the way, if anybody out there knows any little people chicks, specifically like, I don't care, like a girl like this or like any other like 4 foot something female that obviously is over 18, you know, have them call me, man. Because I would definitely like to go tall, small. So, anyway. But yeah, on that note, though, I'm going to call it a night. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I will be back at some point later for something else. I might, depending on how tomorrow goes and stuff like that, if anything happens here locally, I will let everybody know. Of course, here comes the fucking train again. Jesus fucking Christ. Dude, I'll tell you what, like, I swear to God, like, it was like, I think it was Monday, we had like a big thunderstorm or like a big tornado or something come through. And then it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I maybe heard like 2 trains or something in that entire time span, maybe 3 actually, because it was like usually like one a night or something like that. But it was like randomly throughout the day and whatnot. And that was it. Like I was able to have like a whole ass, you know, good night's sleep for like several nights in a row then. And then all of a sudden, last fucking night, so it was Thursday night to Friday morning there, all of a sudden the shit just started coming back then. And it was like between like midnight, it was actually about 11:30 last night, into about 5:30 to 6:30 this morning. There was probably about 10 or 15 trains that came through. Just so fucking ridiculous what it was. I'm gonna definitely have to call up my state rep come Monday morning and be like, hey dude, or even just, I might just call the fucking things tonight, or not tonight, tomorrow morning actually, and like Sunday morning, just leave messages on their phones and stuff like that. And just be like, hey, like you guys need to seriously get some shit done here. Fucking introduce legislation, pass legislation, deal with these fucking trains, either, you know, ban train horns after a certain hour to a certain hour in the morning, or, you know, put the right things through or whatever to actually build barricades or something here, dude. This is fucking ridiculous. I know it's not just happening here where I'm living at. The shit is happening all over the fucking state of Ohio, all across major cities, and people wonder why people are pissed off all the time. It's like, yeah, because they're not able to get fucking sleep, people. Like, you can't sit there and have a train come through every hour or two, waking you out of dead sleep during that entire time, and then expect people to actually function after that. So there was this guy eating this bug that looked like it was legitimately a fucking one of the face huggers from Aliens. And he's just like, it's terrible. And it's like, no shit, Sherlock. I could have told you that before you ever eat it, you fucking moron. So, but anyway. But yeah, people are... okay, this is where we're going to leave off on this one here. So people are talking about the possibility of that Bonnie Blue chick, who's the known whore, there's what it is, actually being a dude who is transitioned into a chick. Dude, if that were the case, that would be like the most epic troll ever, because especially the fact that she was claiming she'd bang like 15 or 1600 guys now at least. So it's like, yeah, if you're all these dudes that you're basically like shoving your dick into a fake puss, like that'd be funny. So, I will agree with the Texas gun rights guys. This is really enough night for real though. Is make suppressors $5 again. Hell yeah. Maximum suppressor, $5. I mean, to be fair, like we could probably do that actually at some point in the future. Depending on how what was I gonna say? Yeah, it would just depend on how many like small mom and pop shops are out there. If we actually had suppressors be legal again and whatnot. So but anyway, on that note, hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe, stay vigilant, always be carrying. If you plan on going out tomorrow, I would say carry extra stuff with you. I would honestly say carry a tactical backpack full of, ammunition and what have you. If you need to be out there is what it is, just in case. Or even like a bug out bag for that matter. Because you never know, man. You never know if somebody's going to try and do something and you're going to stop them or whatever the case be. So, me personally, I don't plan on leaving the apartment tomorrow, except to get my mail, which is even then I'm going to carry it on me, obviously, because it's still like about a 150-foot walk down that way to the boxes. I think it might be more than that even. But yeah, it's enough of a walk where and there's, not knowing who's all around here and knowing we have at least one thief in the complex that stole my shit before, like, I'm not about to be unarmed in case somebody tries to harm me tomorrow is what it is. So, just for being a white dude. But anyway, yeah, other than that, that's where I'm at for today. Hope you guys enjoy this. Peace out, stay safe, and always be carrying. Later, y'all.